appeal to all stakeholders, including students, parents, teachers, unions, associations, media, and the general public to marshal support in stemming out attempted examination malpractice. I assure Kenyans that the NEC Council will employ all means within its ability to ensure that certification of Kenyan education system remains credible, valid, and reliable. I wish to invite the Principal Secretary to make his remarks and invite the Cabinet Secretary. Yes, sir. Oh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Council, to our Cabinet Secretary, CEO TSC, Professor Chege, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have remarks to make because the Cabinet Secretary areas that we need to cover. But as Mr. Chich said earlier, allow me to acknowledge our colleagues who have joined us today so that we appreciate their presence. Let me start internally with the directors from the Ministry of Education who are here. I saw Mr. Kangera, Mr. Kibet, and Mr. Thank you very much for the coordination that we have. Let me now mention the presence of Mr. Oyu, who is the Secretary NAT. I think you can wave so that. Thank you very much. We have Mr. Kelo Misori of Kupet. Thank you very much. We have Mr. Nzioka, who is the Chair, Kenya Primary Heads Association. Thank you very much. I don't know whether there is anybody else I've left out. Good, thank you very much. Colleagues, as I appreciate the multi-agency team that handled and still continue to help us handling the examinations process, we also need to urge and continue encouraging all of us that because exams are still going on, that we struggle and ensure that we maintain the integrity of the examinations process. Because I was not supposed to make remarks, allow me at this stage, before I invite the COTSE, to very graciously thank our teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a very tight year, which was quite compact, required a lot of dedication, and we don't take it for granted that our teachers kept our learners in school until we came to the end of the academic year. Allow me at this stage to invite Dr. Nancy Macharia, the COTSE, to make her remarks. Thereafter, I will invite the Cabinet Secretary to make his remarks and finally release the results for 2021 KCPE results. Karibu sana, Madam Nancy.
Thank you, PS. Our Cabinet Secretary, colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, allow me to make my very brief remarks. And Cabinet Secretary, I don't have to introduce my team. The PS has done that. We are here today to celebrate a special group of 1.2 million candidates who will be joining Form 1. On behalf of the Teacher Service Commission, I congratulate the KCPE class of 2021 and assure them that our teachers are very prepared to receive all of them in secondary school next term. I thank all our teachers, including those who took part in the invigilation, supervision, and marking for their credible efforts that made the 2021 class ready for KCPE examinations during an academic year that was heavily shortened. Overall, I wish to report that nearly all the teachers that were involved in the examination conducted themselves with utmost professionalism, during the KCPE examination process. This is testimony to the fact that our teachers are determined to ensure a credible examination in our schools. I congratulate all of them and encourage them to keep up with the good spirit as per the Code of Regulation for Teachers. As a commission, we will recognize and reward those who excelled in the process in line with the performance recognition, reward, and sanctions policy. Ladies and gentlemen, during the 2020 examinations, we rewarded 30 teachers who stood out in various aspects of KCPE and KCSE administration, some of whom even received awards under the presidential reward system, and we want to thank the president for rewarding our teachers. It acts as a motivation. On the same note, the TSC will act firmly and expeditiously on those teachers who will be found guilty of aiding in examination irregularities. And so, as a commission, we are waiting for the minister to release the examinations, and next should tell us if any of our teachers was actually involved in any irregularities, and we shall take a firm action on them. As we have said in the past, as a commission, we will not allow a few teachers to mar the good name of the teaching service. As a commission, we thank the government for funding resources to allow us to recruit an average of 5,000 teachers annually for our public schools. However, we still have a shortage of 114,581 teachers in primary and post-primary institutions due to the increased enrollment arising from the 100% transition policy and registration of new schools. Despite the shortage, the Commission continues to ensure prudent utilization of the existing teachers in both primary and secondary schools. From time to time, we have had to review staffing placements to ensure no part of our country is disadvantaged in terms of sharing the limited teaching resources. And in line with this, the Commission will shortly be asking our field officers to do a routine exercise of assessing their sub-counties to ensure that all schools have balanced teacher-to-learner ratios ahead of the start of the new academic calendar year. So arising from this, any movements conducted at the local areas must have a human face and must be well discussed with all relevant offices to ensure equity for all of our learners in tandem with the existing staffing norms. We intend to conclude this staff balancing exercise by May 9th of 2022. Lastly, the TSC has continued to prepare all teachers for the phased implementation of CBC. So far, we have consistently ensured that relevant teachers were trained for all levels, including grade 6, which will be covered starting next month. The total of teachers trained in CBC in the last 3 years is 292 teachers. I now wish to announce that the Commission has planned the training of 60,000 teachers in April for juniors to prepare teachers for the junior secondary schools in CBC and competency-based assessment with effect from the 25th of April, immediately after the completion of the marking of the KCSE exams. The training will adopt a phased or cascade model of training that will start at the national level to the county, and teachers will be trained in specific learning areas in languages, pure sciences, applied sciences, mathematics, humanities, and technical subjects. And the training will involve special needs education teachers. It will also involve private schools to prepare our teachers for junior secondary. In conclusion, I once again thank all our teachers for their selfless efforts in preparing the candidates for the KCPE examinations and wish them well as we continue with the current examinations and even preparing our students for the December examinations, God willing, that we shall still conduct. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, CEO. Ladies and gentlemen, as I indicated earlier, we are trying to make this as brief as possible because we still have examinations going on, and also not to, reduce the anxiety of our candidates. Now, I'm informed that we have a representative from the Kenya Private Schools Association, Mr. Bande Simon, wherever you are. Oh, thank you very much for coming. I think at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to have the privilege to invite our Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, to come and address us and the country, and then release the results for KCPE 2021. Karibu sana waziri.
I do it the way I want. God is good and all the time. I just would like to recognize my CS, Dr. Sarah Ruto, who is here in spirit because she has lost her father, and the rest of the protocol is as observed by the Principal Secretary. My statement to the country today is perhaps the most solemn and significant since I joined this ministry more than 3 years ago. I stand here today to release the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education KCPE examination, which is important to us in two ways. One, it is the last examination which is being released under the Jubilee administration of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, a regime that has seen a 6-year run of the most clean and flawless national examination campaigns that have restored the integrity and credibility of our national certification system. Two, these KCPE examination results we are releasing today will be the second last before we fully transition into the competency-based assessments under the competency-based curriculum in 2023. I therefore am very proud and thankful to the Lord and His Excellency the President to have allowed me to serve for the last 6 years, 3 as Cabinet Secretary, and incidentally, very strangely, the longest Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Education under the Jubilee administration, and the other 3 years as Chair of the Kenya National Examination Council. I cannot take this for granted, this opportunity for granted. I am aware that there are very many other better qualified people. And I think His Excellency the President alone knows why he dared to my successor, which only God knows. I am proud of my record, and I remain confident that the lady or gentleman who will come after me will find a comfortable place to continue from. That is not to say that Jogo House is a place that is easy to work in. It is a place which does not require people who do not have a hardened heart and a personality to fight corruption. Let me outline a few of these milestones. The competency-based curriculum. As a government, we have done everything possible to midwife the transition of 844 to CBC. So far, the CBC has successfully been implemented up to grade 5. Next month, by the grace of God, the pioneers will join grade 6 and sit for their first national assessment later this year. These children have already spent 8 years in the competency-based curriculum. I wish to assure the country that all curriculum materials for grade 6 have been prepared and distributed to all public schools. As you have heard from the Teacher Service Commission CEO, Dr. Nancy Macharia, all relevant teachers have been trained to teach grade 6. So we are prepared for the rollout. And many more teachers will be trained. To be more specific, next month we shall train teachers for grades 7 and 8. But being Kenyans, you can be sure you'll be asking again and again, have the teachers been trained? Are the teachers there? Ahead of the start of the junior secondary school next year, the Ministry of Education, under the very competent leadership of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, has constructed 6,497 new classrooms to accommodate CBC Pioneer class under the first phase at the cost of 5.123 billion shillings. The most important thing to note here is that each of these classrooms has costed only 788,000 shillings. We like it or not, where has the 426,000 shillings extra been going to? Because most of the classrooms before this were constructed at 1.26 million. So we must give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And I want to thank the President for being firm on us, saying that he was of the considered opinion that 788,000 can construct classrooms. I'm saying they are all completed because the few that are not complete are either at walling or roofing stage, and my team and I shall ensure that they are complete before the end of the exams. And then we shall embark on the phase 2 of the program, which is the balance of 3,503 classrooms. In fact, this morning I asked His Excellency the President to provide money for this, and the answer was in the affirmative. So before we leave office, ladies and gentlemen, whether anybody likes it or not, we shall have constructed 10,000 classrooms at 788,000 shillings each. And I think this should be a blueprint. And I want to ask members of the Fourth Estate to be making noise about this. If you are saying the same classes we are constructing at 788, where are you taking the balance of the money? I think Kenya is not a poor country. It is just that it has no good workers. There are many jobs, but there are no workers in Kenya. Are we together here? Because people work for their pockets. And I've just remembered, I want to recognize just one person. Yusuf, stand up so that they can see you. Everybody forgets about this young boy here called Yusuf. The fact that we were able to mark these exams quickly and on time, he's the last in the chain. So let's not judge people from where they are. But there are times he was sleeping at 4:30, and by 7:30 he's here. And we are now releasing the results. And you have seen all my leaders have forgotten him. I will not forget him. Thank you. All these preparations, ladies and gentlemen, make me extremely comfortable that my successor will find a good script to follow in the CPC implementation. But I want to dare say once again that this ministry is not a ministry for the faint-hearted. The education ministry is not a ministry for the faint-hearted, starting from your house to the field and to your house. The competency-based assessment, as I already said before, the first grade 6 assessment is set to be administered in December of this year. It's expected that this national assessment will account for 40% of the candidate's final mark, while the remaining 60% will have come from the classroom teacher scores from school-based assessments of grade 4, 5, and 6. This new testing is expected to emphasize both formative and summative assessments, which hopefully will heavily reduce the nonsense cutthroat competition that we see witnessed under the 844 system and heavily reduce incentives for cheating in examinations. And for the avoidance of doubt, even this examination I'm presenting you did not leak. Many of you would have hoped that it leaked so that you can provide things you are going to write about, but unfortunately it did not leak. I also wish to assure my successor that I have ensured that the Grade 6 National Assessment is ready and all that is required is to oversee the administration. My plea to the next government, whichever it is to encourage it to ensure continuous security of our examination process until the CBC is fully grounded. The administration of the December 22 examination will effectively mark the end of the rearranged academic calendar that was forced upon us by an external factor, COVID-19, occasioning the prolonged closure in 2020. Beginning of January 2023, our country will go back to the traditional academic calendar starting in January and ending in November of each year. I wish to thank the stakeholders, starting with the parents, the learners, and the teachers. But above all, I want to thank His Excellency the President for being bold enough to bite the bullet when everybody was singing the opposite song. I think in leadership, what I've learned from President Kenyatta is one thing, that decision-making process is perhaps the most important aspect of leadership. So he made a decision to bite the bullet, and while some people wasted up to 2 years, we are going to go back to normal in some months' time. I also do not want to forget our teachers, whom nobody can compensate them. So let me not hear teachers saying, oh, we are not being paid enough. Who the hell do you think is being paid enough? Nobody is paying me to work for 16 hours a day. So you should also do the same, and most of them are doing so. And we are proud of them, Dr. Macharia, and we pass that message to them. I want to thank the President for offering the ministry all the support, President, for the manner in which he has handled me as a cabinet secretary. He has never given me instructions that confuse me, as if he's saying this and meaning this. Every instruction he has given me has been towards the poor of this nation. So, Nathan, President Kenyatta's contribution to the education sector will comprise a myriad of chapters, and you can take that to the bank, because it's not about politics. You can actually measure what has been done. The multi-agency examination administration, the successful administration of this exam for the last 6 years would not have been possible if we did not have a multi-agency approach, some of whom I will not name, some I will name because you see the policemen. Basically, I want to recognize, first of all, my fallen colleague, the late Jalango who together with Fred Matiang'i and Joe Mucheru started this process when I was recruited to work at another level. And we have continued to better the system, except that the Kenyans have refused to accept that the container system which we picked after I went around African countries, and we picked it in Uganda, has been watertight. The exam cannot leak. So I don't know, whoever says the exam, show us the paper the day before. It's a very simple thing they are doing, which even a man who failed the exam can do. Once the examination has left the container, then 1 or 2 teachers will go and take a photo and put it in the mtandao. But the children are already in the classroom. So now that we have stopped phone from going into classes, if you are stupid, continue to do so. And I want to warn here, ladies and gentlemen, I have a choice. My choice is to remain a cabinet secretary until tomorrow. If you choose to put your career online, we shall punish the children and we shall punish the teachers. Just wait and see. It's not a joke anymore. Because I think it is a criminal offense to confuse a youngster who is very intelligent. You want to send things in a phone when he's already inside and thinking. So those who are bold enough, who are doing so, who have already taken money from these people, must be prepared to face the consequences which are coming. I'm talking very firmly because there are some we have already caught. Not that the exam leaked, but your attempt, if you are caught with a cell phone, for example, there is a price you shall pay. And it's not a very sweet price. So if you are bold enough to try, go ahead and try. Even this morning, perhaps they tried. Tomorrow, if you like, you can try. And we shall catch you. And in less than 2 weeks, if you are a teacher, your job is gone. That's it. We must not forget the 100% transition in line with the government's 100% transition. But all these children, the 1,214,031, all of them will transit to high school. You will ask why. Some of them were caught colluding. Yes, our law says if you catch a child colluding in primary school, for that subject the child gets 0. So that will bring the marks down. Up to now, I don't think there's any child who was caught with all the papers. So even if you passed on only one, you will go to a school which is appropriate with you. Are we together? So, but they will pay for it, especially all those that... Already the minister has put in place measures to ensure that a selection exercise is conducted soonest, and I dare say that Kibet, within 2 weeks I would be wanting to know whether it is complete or not. You have no sleep until we complete that subject. Umeelewa? Now, when the legacy of His Excellency the President is written, the Limu Scholarship Program will be written in it. And this program has enabled the poor children of Kibera, of Kiandutu, or what have you, of Kisumu, children who are intelligent like I was, and who are poor like I was, and who had no chance of becoming a doctor and finally a CS like me, because the mandarins were around it. So they would sell their positions. If you are taken in alliance, people with money through collusion will buy your place and allow you to go to a high school near your area. We want to thank His Excellency the President for his wisdom, that as we speak now there are 18,000 children whose scholarships are for the 4 years, starting from 2019. And this means that those poor will also raise their families, because when they rise, they will rise with their families. And because of that, the President has very gladly agreed this morning that we continue with another 9,000 beneficiaries this year. And so I am going to state here that we should look for James Mwangi, and we start. And I will not be in my office, I will be with them. I want to be sure that it is that child who requires that scholarship that gets it. Because I am the best example. Are we together here? And I think, despite all the politics, let us give to Caesar what belongs to him. Because originally that scholarship was supposed to be meant for other people only. His Excellency the President called me and said, no, go and look for the urban poor children. There are many children who are poor in the urban area. And I found very many of them. As far as the irregularities are concerned, usually this primary school exam does not have too many irregularities because it's not high stakes. This time round, we had 320 candidates who are attempting to collude in 7 examination centers. There will be a price to pay by each of those 320 candidates, and the exam administrators in those 7 centers are going to be severely admonished in the usual manner. Dr. Macharia, it is over to you. If there's anyone that belongs to Interior. Ile mtu iko wapi? Yeah, I've forgotten your name. Mr. Mukwe. We shall hand over to you. So within the next 2 weeks or so, you will be hearing what has been done as far as primary school is concerned. Of the details, 1.2 million candidates in 28,313 centers. Of these, we have achieved gender parity, 50.28 boys, 49.72% girls. Basically comparable to last year's. Now, during the 2021 examination, 12 counties registered more females than males. Very strange. Mombasa, Mberu, Isiolo, Tharaka Nithi, Nairobi, Uasin Gishu, Busia, Bungoma, Kakamega, Vihiga, Kisumu, and Siaya. In 2020, there were 20 of them. So it's like we thank God the male child is starting to come up. The number of candidates who are absent this time decreased from 12,424 to 11,500. The number of registered candidates who are below age increased from 26,000 to 33,000. The counties that had the highest entry for these candidates is very strange, and I'm going to read them very carefully. Baringo, Bomet, Kericho, West Pokot, and Nyamira. Doesn't make sense, but that is the truth. I'm asking, why not in the urban areas? So these counties, except for Nyamira, recorded similar trend last year. So it means then that there is something happening there. Could it be due to some traditional activities that they do there? We will do a tracer study to find out. The highest number of candidates came from the traditional years, over about 45% between 13 and 14 years. And when we jump to the overage, which is 19 years, they came from Turkana, Garissa, Kilifi, Kwale, and Mandera. Again, these counties, except for Mandera, recorded the same for last year. Performance per subject. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to announce that 6 papers recorded an improved performance in the year 2021 as compared to 2020. These are English composition, Kiswahili Lugha, Kiswahili Insha, Kenyan Sign Language composition, Science and Social Studies. 3 other papers, Mathematics, English Language and Religious Education, recorded a drop in performance when compared to 2021. Kenya Sign Language recorded a comparable performance between the 2 years. In terms of gender, the performance of male and female candidates was comparable. However, the females always defeat the boys in English and Kiswahili, and they have maintained that. Male candidates were better in STEM subjects, Kenya Sign Language, Mathematics and Science, and Religious Education. Overall performance of the candidates. In 2021 examination, overall performance improved compared to 2020, although the highest mark dropped from 433 to 428. The mean average performance and quality of grades for all candidates is higher. For example, whereas 8,091 candidates, which is 0.68%, scored between 400 and 500 marks in 2020, the number increased to 11,857, which is 0.97% in 2021. This is an indicator that most candidates scored better scores than the previous year. I wish to commend all teachers and parents and candidates for this good performance during the challenging period. The summary of the grades is as follows. It's on a table, which I will not read fully, but I will just mention. 4 to 500, 11,857. 300 to 399, 315,275, 200, 299, 578,197. Gentlemen and ladies of the media will see it from the list. I'm impressed that the mark range between the candidates, the top 10 candidates, is only 3 points. Actually, there are up to 14 candidates in order to make the top 10, but the mark range is only 3 points, and that tells you something. And I will read a few. The top candidate for this year's examination is Magata Bruce Mackenzie from Gilgil Hills Academy. He is at position 1 with 428 points. The second candidate is Momanyi Ashley Kerubo from Makini School, Kibos, with 427 points. Number 3 is carried by 6 of them, so I'll just read maybe one because of time, or 2. Kuoma Charity Bahoya Buyanzi, Holy Family Misihu Girls Primary School. The next is Mbogwa Sharon Wairimu Uteti, Emmanuel Academy. Number 5, which is also with 3 points, it's Muteti Chantel Ndinda, Kitengela International School. Another one is 426 is Stanley Otieno Mondi, Rofinfield Junior Secondary School. Number 7, also with which is basically number 3, Wekesa Naomi, White Star Academy. Number 8, Kimani Ethan Karuga, Stepping Stones Preparatory, also with 426. Then the rest 4 are with 425, and the first one is Njeru Joel Junior Musioka. Njeru Joel Junior Musioka, Nyagwa Primary School. Then Kirinya Murioki Victor, PCEA Mwimbi Boarding Primary School. Second last one, Diana Rose Natolo, First Beth Academy. And finally, Kaberia Emmanuel Munene, New Bambini. There are two others. Let me just finish them. Emmanuel Kiplangat Ngetich, Moi Primary School, Kabarak, and George Morris Otieno Hill School. And that makes the list of 14, but basically number 1, 2, and 3. Now, those with disabilities are better spread out. For candidates with special needs, the top candidates there are 2 in between 4 to 500, but they have improved between 300 and 399, and they have up to 337 of them compared to last year when they had 318. And I think I will just call a few of them. I don't have the list of SNE candidates, but then I'll go to the candidates who are top candidates in SNE. I have the list here. Bethany Tatila Migosi from Thorngrove Academy with 417 points. Grace Nema Katana from Havila Academy, Mutwapa Primary School. Kamau Jackson Degwa from Mudhiria. Musioka Kings Kevin All those have 401. The two of them have 401. Kazozweni AIC. And number 5 is Migosi Dominic Sese from Maunarok, 401. Number 6 is Minor Leighton Jagi, Olkalau Disabled, 399. Otieno Bara Konyango from St. Cecilia Olare in Homa Bay. Number 6, Mwechofi Leonora Mukawaindi, De Paul Catholic School, Kamulu. Number 9, Philip Karani, Likoni School for the Blind. And number 10, Dorcas Chirono, St. Sophia, Kapchepomken Primary School, 396. The number of candidates who sat examination under special circumstances, including those who sat the examination in hospitals, decreased from 1,240 to 1,067. The most improved public schools whose candidates are greater than 50, I will read just a few per region. The first region is the Coast Region, Kambi Awaya from 203 to 266. Central Region, Njenga Karume from 207 to 248. Eastern, Ngukuine from 165 to 250. Nairobi, Keleta from 213 to 263. Rift Valley, Lenkishoni from 198 to 272. Western, Kewa DEB from 216 to 284. Nyanza, Nyangiti from 170 to 232. And Northeastern, Mandera DEB from 181 to 270. We encourage them and hope that they continue to improve. Ladies and gentlemen, accessing the KCPE examination results, it is our tradition that the KCPE examination results will be collected by respective schools from the sub-county education offices. Candidates should therefore collect their results from their respective examination centers. And let me warn the head teachers, both public and private, this is a Kenya government examination. You shall give the candidate his or her results. Talk about school fees on the side. Are we together here? You are keeping it, is it your school? And is it your country? So can we give every candidate his results so that I don't have people coming up to my office that we give results from here? That is thoroughly inhuman. And I hope that is taken in the manner that it is required. Individual candidates' results can be assessed by sending a candidate's index number followed by initials KCPE, the short-term SMS to 20076. This service will be available immediately after this event. Head teachers will be required to download and print the online result slips for candidates in their schools and authenticate the same before they release them to the parents and guardians. And it is the wish of His Excellency the President and also mine that every child gets his results. Deal with the parents later. Because as far as the public is concerned, primary school is free. Are we together? And even in the private sector, if you decided to take part of the work of government, thank you for taking the work. But now you must give the result to the child. It is now my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to declare the examination results for 2021 officially open. And just to hasten to say that we are still in the field. And as soon as this is done, I want all the officers who are here to forget about the ceremony and get back to work.
May I now CS request that you that you receive the CEO, please, the chair, the PS.
We want you at the center. Mercy, you go the other side.
You can now see the size 11 and above in practice. Thank you very much, Cabinet Secretary. I now invite Madam Imelda Baraza to offer to move the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, our Master of Ceremony, our CS, our invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to give this vote of thanks on this occasion of releasing the 2021 KCPE results. Allow me to thank the Almighty God for this chance, given that last year, when we were releasing the results, we released amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. I, and on behalf of the Kenya National Examinations Council and the entire fraternity of education stakeholders gathered here today, we extend our gratitude to all the speakers for gracing this occasion. Sir, allow me to thank you specifically for the work that you have done. You have enumerated for us the milestones that you have achieved, and I request all of us here to put our hands together and just give a clap to our CS. Sir, we have witnessed you work tirelessly, and we just want to cheer you on and say thank you very much for the work that you have done. On the same land, allow me to appreciate the CEO Teacher Service Commission, Dr. Nancy Macharia, for the immense support you have enabled us to work closely with the TSC. The teachers have enabled the process of examination administration right from setting administration to marking. They have been our engine and cornerstone for the examination administration processes, and we thank them for the sacrifice, hard work, resilience, without which we will not be able to release the results today. We also take this opportunity to convey our sincere appreciation to the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government for all their support during the administration of the exams. We thank all the officers for the sacrifice and diligence, without which this process would not have run smoothly. So allow me to appreciate the guests that we invited today, starting off with our Principal Secretary, State Department of Basic Education and Early Learning, Dr. Julius Juan. Allow me also to thank the Principal Secretary, State Department for Implementation of Curriculum Reforms, who has honored us today, Professor Fatuma Chege. Allow me to thank the Director, KICD, Professor Charles Ongondo, and all the directors from the Teacher Service Commission and from the Ministry of Education. I appreciate the representatives of the education-related associations and unions, center organizers and managers for being present today. I would like to thank the chairman of the council, Dr. John Onsanti, and our CEO, Dr. David Njengere, and the council members for the support and guidance that you have accorded us. Not forgetting the media fraternity for successfully covering this function and enabling all viewers countrywide and worldwide to actively watch the release of these results today. To the NEC family, we thank you for all your hard work. Sir, allow me at this moment just to mention Yusuf. Not that we had forgotten Yusuf. Sir, personally, I would want to appreciate Yusuf for the work that he has done. We shall be discussing more as we continue working. We thank all the NEC staff for all the tireless hours, all the sacrifice, and that has enabled us to successfully release the results today. When the CS gave us a challenge, we said we'll jump 10 times higher, and sir, the staff made it. Allow me, sir, to also thank the committee that was behind the organization of this activity. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been told time is of essence, and at this time, allow me to congratulate all the candidates and wish them well as they transit to the next stage. God bless NEC, God bless Kenya, God bless you all. As we conclude, we'll have announcements from our Master of Ceremony. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the results printout, KCPE 2021 results printouts will be available in schools on 30th March 2022. If there are issues that the candidates or the teachers wish to raise, these issues should be raised within 30 days of the release of the results. And as we raise the issues, please remember to attach the relevant documents, the birth certificate, a copy of the results printout, and a letter from the head teacher or the sub-county director of education of the affected candidates. So please remember 30th March for the results printouts. Remember the 30 days after the official release of the results. I now, at this point, request Ahmed Mutanga to offer the closing prayer.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين. All thanks and praise are due to Allah, Lord of all creation, Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, most merciful, most beneficent, Maliki Yawmiddin, Lord of the day of recompense. Iyyaka na'bud wa iyyaka nasta'in. Only you do we worship, and only you do we ask for sustenance. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Guide us unto the straight path. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. The path of those whom you have favored. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Not the path of those who have angered you. Wala dhalin, or those who have gone astray. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين آمين آمين.
Amen. Asanteni sana na mbarikiwe. I've been asked to, in the usual neck spirit, that Madam Imelda will guide us. Remember, size 11 to 14. She will deal with the front row and the council members, and we are requesting that you don't leave without taking lunch. Ladies and gentlemen, asanteni sana na mbarikiwe.
Well, you have just witnessed the official release of the KCPE 2021 examination, and about 1.2 million candidates can now know their results or how they actually performed in the 2021 KCPE exams, which they sat on from the 7th of March to the 9th of March. Basically, what is happening now is that the CS for Education, Professor George Magoha, is leaving the stage. He is the one who has presided over this official release of the KCPE 2021 examination results, and the students can actually start to SMS to request for how they performed or request for the results in through the number 276. They can start by texting, writing their index number followed by the initials of the candidate, and send that particular text to 276. That is basically the official SMS number that has been given out by the Ministry of Education for the candidates who are at home. And of course, everyone is so eager to know how they performed. So basically, this is the official launch of the official release of the KCPE 2021 results. Professor George Magoha, they are indicating that there are about 320 candidates who were found to be on the fault or at fault in a bit of irregularities, and he says those candidates will actually be taken action on for those malpractices that they were engaged in. At the same time, President Magoha taking time to outline a number of achievements that have been reached throughout his tenure as the Minister for, or rather the CS for the Education, indicating that there is a lot that has been achieved. And of course saying that whoever will be taking over after him, actually the script is set out for him to follow what the Minister of Education has been doing for all this while. Basically what he says has been achieved is to tame or to curb exam malpractices and irregularities. He says the number has reduced compared to the previous years. The best candidate for this year comes from Gilgil Hills Academy. He has scored 428. Professor George Magoha says though this year's exam 2021 candidates overall performance is well, the high score has reduced. 2020 best candidate or top performer had 433, but this year's top performer had 428. And these results that have just been released, candidates for the 2021 KCPE can actually SMS to find out how they have performed. So basically that's it from here. I will now hand you over back to studio. This has been a live broadcast. I will now hand you over back to studio where Ben Troinjue is standing by for the 1 p.m. bulletin. And of course an analysis, I guess, there, Ben Troinjue, for this particular result release that has just been done. Back to you in studio. My name is Kamche Menza.
Indeed, thank you so much, Kamche Menza, live from the Kenya National Examination Council, where officially the Education CS Professor George Magoha has officially released or announced the results of the 2020 KCPE examination results, which were actually, the exam itself was done the same month, that is from the 7th to the 9th. And congratulations to all the candidates, just as the CS has talked about, but special congratulations to the top student Bruce Mackenzie Magata from Gilgil Hills Academy, who has scored a total of 428 marks. Of course, there are others who have also done quite well. We have the Momanyi, we have Caleb, we have Charity, we also have Sharon Wairimo, Muteti, Chantel, Stanley Otieno, Wekesa, Naomi, Kimathi, Ethan, Njeru Joel, Diana Rose, and Munene. Kabena Munene. Those are some of the top students who have scored highly in the just concluded KCPE examination. A lot has been talked about, and for the next bulletins we will be breaking it down for you. But allow me to just touch on some of the things that the good professor has said. But we will be coming with all that after this short break.
Students of Mary Show School wish to convey our congratulatory message to the KCPE candidates on their well-deserved success. Well done and congratulations on passing the 2021 KCPE exams.